Shalom. My name is YAH. I'm with Savior Word of Yah, Tabernacles of the Congregation of Israel. Welcome to our weekly Bible study. Hopefully everybody has successfully made it out this the reason for the season, this pagan season that we trying to make it out of. You survive Thanksgiving, you survive the Xmas, and Yah's will, we have survived a new year. So the title of our class today is going to be New Year, New Calendar. So why we Hebrews ain't celebrating New Year? Why are we saying, oh, this is not the New Year or it's pagan? Well, we're going to get an understanding of why this is not the New Year, so that you can understand what are you really celebrating? What are they trying to get you to celebrate? And how do we know that, what they're trying to have us do is not the right thing to do? So, of course, the best thing to do is look in your Bibles. Your Bibles will show you. Your Bible will tell you what you're supposed to do. So first, we got to look at, how this whole New Year thing started. So first thing we're going to look at, in 1582, the Gregorian calendar reform made January 1st as New Year's Day. So this is in 1582. So what was New Year's prior to 1582? We're going to get in that. So we were just talking about the Roman Catholics, right? So the Catholic countries adopted it, but it was gradually adopted among Protestant countries. So it was really a Catholicism thing. It was the Catholics that did this with Pope Gregory, right? The Gregorian calendar. So they changed the new year to January 1st. All right. So the British colonies and American colonies did not adopt the reformed calendar until 1752. So even in America and the American colonies, before America was even really America, they were not dealing with the new year starting in January 1st. So until then, the British Empire and their colonies still celebrated the new year in March. So all the way up to 1780, 1752, everywhere that we know where we are at has been celebrating the new year in March. So, all right, let's just look at the months, the names of the months. The names of the months tell you that. If you start with the number we know, the octagon, right? Us UFC fighters, you stepped in the octagon, we know is 8 sides. On octagon, a stop sign got 8 signs. For martial artists, the octagon is a martial arts weapon. It's all, the nunchuck shaped like octagon. It's 8 sides. So October should have been the 8th month, but October's the 10th month. That don't add up. So after October is November. Nove, nueve in Spanish is 9, right? Then, of course, we know decimals, deci, right? December. December is the 12th month. Now, what? It don't make any sense. Deci means 10. That's why we have decimals. So December would have been the 10th month. So if December was the 10th month all the way until 1752, right? Then the 11th month, what comes after December? January. That would make the 12th month what? February. So that would put New Year, March. So all this was ancient information. This was nothing new. All this was understood. The first day of the new year changes from March 25th to January 1st. The calendar is also made consistent with Europe by dropping the seasons. So this is their doing. We know in the Bible, it talks about how they're going to change times and seasons. But this is the history. So this is how we came about to get actual January 1st. All right. So where did this January come from? Why January? So this is what we're going to look at. We're going to see why January. All right, this is the prequel to the class before we get into the scripts on the new year. All right, so I'm gonna pull something up real quick. We're gonna look at why they keep January as the new year. All right, so here we have Janus, the pagan god Janus. You know, the Greeks, everything that they do for pagan reasons. Everything they do is for pagan reasons. So why would they make March and change it and say, no, January is now going to be, well, in ancient Roman religion and myth, Janus is the god of beginnings, gates, transitions, time, duality, doorways, passages, frames, and endings. So this is literally what they call Father of Time, the god of time. So, of course, to honor this god, Janus, they changed the new year in the springtime to the dead of the winter. Janus, all right? And it says literally, if you think it's a conspiracy, the month of January is named for Janus, Januarius. So this is why they have changed the new year to January for that reason. So we see ancient times, we weren't doing that. They were not starting the year in the dead of the winter. Then all of a sudden, now they're changing it to January. And why January? Janus. And we did the countdown with the months, and there was no names of the months originally. They were numbered months. That's why you have December, right? October, November. Well, when they were instituting this Gregorian calendar, they wanted to give their two prime gods, Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar, a month. So then they came up with July and August. And that threw everything off, because now, if you notice how the months work, you got 30 days in November, 31 days in December, and then you look at June, you have 30 days, July 31, you can look at your thumb and you find which months have 30 and 31. So they had to give July and August is back to back. So they had to give them both 31 days. So they had to take days from another month. So they took from February, literally. And that's why February has 28 days, because they took from that day to calculate, to make their pagan gods equal. So they could have January, so they could have Julius with his full 31 days and Augustus with his full 31 days. So this whole system of doing things, this whole monthly calculation, everything, even the names of the month and all this, is all related to pagan worship, Greek Roman pagan worship. So in understanding that, we have to say, all right, well, we know we ain't supposed to be doing that, because that's not what we're supposed to be doing. But what are we supposed to be doing? And if you don't understand what you're supposed to be doing, at least understand what you ain't supposed to be doing. So you can say, let me stop from doing this, or let me make sure that I'm not doing worship practices. And one of the biggest worship practices that they do for New Year's, because remember, the god of passages, doorways, time, portals, all that. Two faces, the God with two faces. He looks in the future and the past. They'll tell everybody in church, they call him watch night. My own mother, Roman Catholic, went to this. They go at midnight. They stand, well, she didn't go actually this year. She's gone other years. And they stand one direction. They say, everybody stand this direction. And they look that direction. And then they count down 10, 9, 8 to midnight. Then everybody turns around the other direction. And they say, Happy New Year and all that stuff, right? You don't realize you've been literally doing a ritual for Janus. That is a demonic pagan ritual. And you are allowing, authorizing all kind of evil spirits that we don't know nothing about to use our vessels, because we're participating in their rituals. So again, we've received so much grace and mercy from the Most High, because almost everything is pagan. You can't even tell somebody what day of the week you're going to meet them outside without saying some pagan name, and we get grace and mercy. But the thing is, when you know better, you do better. So that's what we want to focus on. When we know better, we do better. So Greeks, Romans, they were Greek and Roman back then. Now they've just changed now to Jewish. Same people, same region. Italy, Rome, same area, all right? And these people, they still doing pagan worship. So they have taken our culture now and they call themselves by us, by a name that's supposed to be for us, and they have their calendar. Their calendar has 354 days based on the moon, or it has 383 and a half or 384 days. So you see what's going on here. Man is doing things and coming up with all kind of calendars that don't make no sense. And they justify in the so-called Jewish calendar having an Adar 2, a 13th month. Well, where can you find anywhere in this Bible a 13th month where something happened on the 13th month? And it was the 13th month. Why, when the flood came, they weren't like on the 13th month, the top of the mountains? Or what about who's the priest that's responsible for the 13th month to come in and do? What's his on the course of the priest? Who is that guy? Why they just left that out? So it doesn't add up. You can only say these things and assert these things to people that don't know who they are and don't understand the Bible. So being most of us Israelites have come out of Christianity, and when we left Christianity, we went right into semi-Judeo. We became Judeo-Christian. So we followed a lot of tradition of the Jewish. And that's why we have these 13th months and we keeping new moons and all this type of stuff. And we allowing them to disfigure our Bible and change a word that's supposed to say new month into new moon. That's a problem. All right, so let's get into it. All right, let's go into what is supposed to be the beginning of months for you. So we're going to get into the Torah. Let's go to Exodus chapter 12. Exodus chapter 12. Bear with me 1 second. Let me send a link to this class. Exodus chapter 12. And we're going to read verses 1 through 3. And again, this is an open forum. So if you disagree, you feel that, what we're saying is not right or whatever, hey, that's fine. We can get into it. You don't have to agree with everything, but we're going to look at the scripts and we're going to hopefully be able to come away with a solid understanding. All right, so we're going to Exodus. Let me pull up the scripts. Bear with me, I'm trying to share this. All right, so we're going to Exodus chapter 12, and we're just going to read 1 through 3, and we're going to see what is this? When is the year supposed to start according to our culture, according to the real father time, the one who created everything, not the pagan father time. All right, so Exodus chapter 12, Shema chapter 12, and we're going to read verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron in the land of Mizraim, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. So Yah has his months. He said, this is the month. So what month is this? Is it January 1st? Or is it in the springtime, like how it was ancient times? So Yah doesn't say specifically in here. All right, so let's see what he's talking about. Verse 3, speak you unto all the congregation of Yasharal, saying, in the 10th day of this same month, so this month, which is the first month to you, the first month of the year, in this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. So, all right, well, the first month of the year, we're supposed to take a lamb, and a lamb, every man from a house. So, okay, that should be pretty obvious, but we can do lamb sacrifices other times. Don't we do a lamb sacrifice for atonement? They got the 2 lambs and 2 goats and all that stuff. So let's make sure that we're talking. Okay, now let's drop down. Verse 6, and you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Yasharal shall kill it in the evening, and they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts. All right, so game over. We know what that is. Passover. So the month of Passover, when you have Passover, is the beginning of months. Are we having Passover in December, January, in the winter? No, we're not. Passover's in the spring. All right, so could it have been called January back then or something? No, it's impossible, because YAH is going to give you the name of that month. So let's move on from there. Let's go to, actually, let's look at some terms before we move on, so we can understand. We always want to get into the Hebrew. So let's look at this Hebrew for beginning of the month. So this month, so first thing we want to look at is month. The Hebrew word for month is Hokdesh, which is H2318. And notice here they say the new moon, by implication, a month. So it's not implicating a month. It is a month. You're implying that a month means moon. That is not the case. That is a huge, huge mistranslation. And we can prove that. All right. So this month, because sometimes they call that month, other times they call it new moon. But when you look up the word for moon in Hebrew, it's Yeriach. Yeriach got nothing to do with month. Look at the root word for month. It's Hadash. And that's to be new, causively to rebuild, renew, repair. It's got nothing to do with a moon. All right. Now, if we look up moon, let's just to prove it, so you don't think that I'm just making up stuff. Let's just look up moon. All right. So we got moon here, Genesis, and the sun and the moon, right? Click that word. What's that? Yeriach. From the same as H3391, the moon. Yeriach. And the root word of that? Yerach. And that is a lunation. That is a lunar month. So they literally have a word for lunar month in Hebrew. But you're telling me that the word for month and new month is the same as new moon, but yet they got a word for a whole lunar cycle. So it doesn't add up. All right. So we're just getting in these terms because with the Hebrew, there's no confusion with the Hebrew. The confusion comes when wicked man tries to translate it and use it to manipulate you to do what they want you to do, right? All right, so we are back here where we're in Exodus chapter 12, right? So again, this month, we looked at month, beginning. Let's look at beginning. Rosh, to shape the head. Literally, the head, the first, the principle. All right, so literally, the first month of months shall be the first month of the year. So let's look at year. Shana. And years is Shaneh. So Shana, H8141. And that's from a year. So let's look at the root word of that so we can understand what that means. Shana. That is to fold or duplicate. So that means for you to have a year, something has to be duplicated. Something has to be folded. When you fold, that means it's double. So you have half of a year, the other half of the year. That's like biannually, right? Then the other half of the year. Those two halves, a spring and a winter, give you a whole year. And the markers in between that are your solstices, where you have your fall, and you have your fall and your spring, your summer. It's gonna be your fall and your summer. Those are the middle points. But ultimately, it's broken into two, where it's just a spring and a winter. That's it. Springtime and winter time. All right, so that's for year. And then if you look at the word again, the root word is Shana. So that's another clue. So when they say Rosh Hashanah, beginning of the year, that's another clue. Wait a minute. Don't those Jewish people say Happy Rosh Hashanah when it's cold outside? In the winter? In the 7th month, when it's cold outside? When we having trumpets and we having atonement, they saying Happy New Year. That don't add up. Again, we just showed you what those words mean. Rosh means head in Hebrew. Shana means year. So head of the year. The head of the year, we just read it. This month shall be the beginning of months of you. The month that you taken the Passover lamb. That is the springtime. So you got two people keeping the year wrong. You got one Greek that say he Christian, another Greek that say he Israelite or Israeli. He won't say he Israelite. He won't say that. You say he Israeli or Jewish. Both of them is keeping it in the wrong time and saying the wrong thing. Happy New Year when it's not YAH's New Year according to his calendar. All right, so when we supposed to do it? So let's move on. So we saw those terms so that we understand what those mean. When you read it in Hebrew, people can't tell you the wrong things because you understand what these terms mean. Let's go to Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 16. We're going to see the name of the first month. Deuteronomy chapter 16. And we're going to start this at verse 1. And again, this is an open forum. So any questions, comments, by any means, go ahead and chime in. And we'll get to the bottom of it. And shalom to my brother Yafi Yahuda. Good to see you, family. And big shalom to my brother Yonatan Yasharal. You know, this was the brother that was very instrumental with me in the beginning, with starting Israelite Gathering and doing the research, spending the hours, man, doing the calculation, trying to figure this calendar out, trying to figure out, you know, what we were doing. So big shout out to brother Yonatan and his family for the hard work he put in helping us to understand this calendar system. All right, so praise Yah. So we at Deuteronomy, Devarim chapter 16, and we're going to start this at verse 1. Observe the month of Abib. So when is Abib? They didn't tell us. We have to keep reading. And keep the Passover unto Yahweh your Elohim. For in the month of Abib, Yahweh your Elohim brought you forth out of Mizraim by night. So it's all right here. The first month of the year is when we're supposed to keep our new year. And that month is called Abib. And what's the Hebrew word for Abib? Abib. It's a Hebrew word. H24, Abib. That's to green. That is a young ear of grain. Hence the name of the month Abib. So when things green, when the corn is still green, it's just becoming fresh. It's just ready for harvest. Abib. That is the first month. And again, second witness, the same month that we're doing Passover. So if you are telling me Happy New Year and we're not keeping Passover this month, and things aren't green, ain't nothing green outside. Only thing green goes in the brown leaf about this time of year. Ain't no green outside, bro. Everything is dead. It's the middle of the winter, the dead of the winter. They call it the dead of the winter. So now you know at least what season it is that the new year is supposed to be in. It's supposed to be when we keep Passover. It's supposed to be in the springtime. So we know it's not in the wintertime. So how do we know? When is it? You got enough basic information. The Bible gonna give you enough basic information to stay away from keeping some pagan stuff. The Bible gonna give you all the clues to say, listen, what they doing is clearly not this, so that can't be it. So let me stay away from that. I may not know what to do, but I know that's not it. And hey, I don't know the exact day. All I know is it's in the springtime. So when the spring comes, I'm gonna celebrate that as New Year because that's what my Bible says. Now, you may not understand this calendar. You might not understand how to calculate and how to get the exact day. And you got to go with whatever your camp say or whatever. Listen, do the best you can. Every man got to work his own salvation out with fear and trembling. In this class today, we're not going to specifically go how to calculate everything, but we're going to get you to the area. And we have other classes that you can look up on our page that will tell you exactly how to do it. And we're going to do another class on it. But for today, for time's sake, we're not going to do that. We're just going to show you how to get to the area and how to know you in your right time frame. All right. So before we do that, let's go to Second Esdras. Let's go in Apocrypha. Because what'll happen is we're going to have to start going in these other books. And Second Esdras was originally in the King James Bible. But what happened was they removed it out. So people will say, well, you know, I don't want to deal with nothing. Everything I need is in the Torah. And you're absolutely right. Everything you need for your salvation is in that Bible, in the King James Bible. You good. I'm not saying anything. But what I will tell you is this, that you do not have enough information in just your King James Bible to know exactly when the new year starts, to know exactly how to calculate that. And that's by design. All right, so we're going to the Apocrypha, 1611 King James. We're going to go to Second Esdras. And Second Esdras, I don't know why they will pull this out because it's literally Ezra. It's the same prophet. You got a book called Ezra. You just took two portions of it out and said, nah, y'all need to get this. Y'all need to hear this. Y'all, this is too much for y'all. Too many secrets. All right, so Second Esdras. And we're going to chapter 14, all right? And we're going to start this at verse 44. All right? So this is talking about when Esdras was given the Holy Spirit, and he took 5 brothers with him, and they started writing down books from YAH about the law and the secrets of YAH. So Second Esdras, chapter 14 and verse 44. In 40 days, they wrote 204 books. So there's 204 books that they wrote. How many books we got? Like 80 something, 88 maybe? And it came to pass when the 40 days were filled that the highest spake, saying, the first that you have written, publish openly, that the worthy and the unworthy may read it. So that's what your Bible's for. That's for everybody, for the worthy and unworthy, so that everybody got the same opportunity to repent. Everybody got the same opportunity to say, wait a minute, you said the year started in the springtime. Why are you right here? You said the year starts in the springtime, according to our Bible. Why are you starting the spring in the wintertime? So that's what the Torah will do. The Bible, the King James, is enough for you to see when people is trying to send you off, trying to have you do something that's against YAH. That's why it said those books, so those first 204 books, he says, go ahead and publish it openly that the worthy and the unworthy may read it. So that's for everybody. But in verse 46, He says, but keep the 70 last, that you may deliver them only to such as be wise among the people. So he's telling you, it ain't for everybody can't get in the Apocrypha. Everybody can't go in Enoch. Everybody can't go in Jubilees. Everybody can't go into the War Scrolls and the Dead Sea Scroll. Everybody can't do that because they can't understand the basics of the Bible. And that's not because they stupid. That's mainly because it's been hidden from us. We don't have teachers. You know, we've been taught all these lies and we're being distracted. But it said these 70, give them to the wise people. Why? Verse 47, for in them is a spring of understanding, the fountain of wisdom, and the stream of knowledge. So he wanted wise people to have this. So if you're a wise person, don't let nobody tell you you can't understand something or you can't get in a book of YAH. Now, you getting in these other books outside of YAH, I can't claim that. I don't know, you know, you're dealing with a lot of stuff. But the books that got to do with our culture, from our people that's predating the Greeks, don't let nobody send you off and try to make you feel bad because you reading the Apocrypha and they don't understand the Apocrypha. Or you reading Jubilees and Enoch, they don't understand it. Well, that's for them. We still gonna read the Torah. We still gonna read the Old Testament, New Testament. But there's other books for wise. So this next portion of the class we about to get into is for those that are wise. Those that are or proclaim they know nothing so they can be wise, like the Bible say. That's what this portion of the class is. So now we're going to figure out how many days in a year, because Torah don't tell you how many days in a year. How do we know that? So we're going to go into the apocryphal books. We're going to go to some of the other books. We're going to go to the book of Jubilees. We're going to go to Jubilees chapter 6. So I'm going to pull it up on the screen. That's Yobelum, Jubilees chapter 6. All right, so we go to Jubilees, the book of Jubilees, Yobelum, chapter 6, and we're going to read 29 through 38. All right, so again, I'm not going to go into exactly how to calculate the new year and all that. We're not going to do that in this class for time's sake. But what we will do is we'll look at the basic answers. So Yobelum, Jubilee chapter 6 and verse 29. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. So what are the heavenly tablets? So the heavenly tablets are big tablets, giant stone tablets in the air, like some giant asteroid that he wrote on. No, the heavenly tablets is the sky. That's the heavenly tablets. So he placed them on the heavenly tablets. Each had 13 weeks from one another, past their memorial from the first to the second, from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days. And these will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraved and ordained on the heavenly tablets. So the sky is literally engraved to be broken into 52 weeks of 7 days. So in 52 weeks of 7 days, you should see a full revolution in the sky of everything that you need to see in a year. Exactly 52 weeks, and 52 times 7 is 364. So it's giving you the exact amount of days in a year. Verse 31. And there is no neglecting this commandment from single year or from year to year. So it's killing all this Julian calendar. Julian is the one, the Julius Caesar, his calendar. He was the first one to start all this leap year crap, where they got, in order to keep up with their gods, to keep up with what's actually really going on, they had to add a leap year. They had to add a leap month and all kind of stuff, right? But this calendar, and by the way, Enoch was given this calendar, and Enoch was told by the holy angel Uriel that this was Yah's calendar. So this is the only calendar that the person who's introducing this calendar told you directly YAH gave him this calendar. Not a man named Pope Gregory, he gave you that calendar. Not a man named Julius Caesar, he gave you the Julian. Not the Babylonians, which gave you the Babylonian calendar. No, you have somebody that's an angel of YAH. Now, is that true? Time will show. But at least the author is claiming that they got it from YAH. Everybody else telling you we got it from man. All right. So verse 32, and he's saying here in verse 31, there is no leap year. Ain't no it changed this year. Every 4 years it changed. And command you, the children of Yasharal, that they observe the years according to the reckoning, 364 days. So this is what we are commanded to do. If the pagans want to keep 365, if the other pagans want to keep 354 and 384 another year, let them do what they do. If it make you float your boat, go ahead, do your thing. But you, children of Israel, that's who I'm talking to. My people, we supposed to do according to what YAH told us to do. 364 days, and these will constitute a complete year. And they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feasts. So what they're saying here is that if you have exactly 364 days, that's 52 weeks of 7 days. That means your New Year's always going to be the same day of the year. Your Passover always going to be the same day of the year. Your atonement always the same day of the year and always the same day of the week. So it ain't going to be like New Year's on Tuesday night this year, next year's on Friday night. That's confusion. His order is perfect. Every year, New Year going to be Tuesday night. Every year, Trump is going to be Tuesday night. Every year. And every week, the seventh day going to be the Sabbath. Every day. Ain't no jumping around. Ain't no following the moon, looking for what the moon do. The moon is confusion. How can you calculate anything solely on the moon? How do you know it's daytime outside? How do you know it's daytime, baby? Because you see the sun. How do you know that it's nighttime? Because you see the moon? And you see the stars. That's a trick question. You see the moon in the daytime. So does that mean it's night if you see the moon outside? No. The moon is confused. It's sometimes it likes to be in the day, sometimes it likes to be in the night. Some nights it don't come out. That sun come out every day. That is your timekeeper. That is if for metaphoric speaking, represents the man. He's supposed to be consistent. He's supposed to be solid. He ain't supposed to change, especially if he's a man of YAH. So again, all these pagans got us trying to follow these wavy ways that are not of YAH. YAH is consistent. And if we read our writings, it shows that what they doing is off. But if you try to go to them and have them explain to you how to do what we are supposed to be doing, they're going to make you worship their gods. Verse 33. But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, they will disturb all their seasons, and their years will be dislodged from their order. And they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged, and they will neglect their ordinances. So this is how important it is, because we all over the place. We don't know when we supposed to be keeping Passover. We don't know when we supposed to say Happy New Year. And guess what? It's a Happy New Year because it's the Jubilee year. Hey, everybody free. We can't even do that. We can't even free people or get our debts cleared or clear somebody's debts. Verse 34. And all the children of Yasharal will forget and will not find the path of the years and will forget the new moons. We ain't forgot the new moons. We forgot the new months. Again, they sliding in moons for months and seasons and Shabbats, and they will go wrong as to all the order of the years. So we don't know what year we are. Right now, to this day, we don't know what year we're in. All right. And for I know, and from henceforth will I declare it unto you, and it is not of my own devising. For the book written before me lies written before me, and on the heavenly tablets the division of days is ordained. So it's ordained in the sky. You can't change it. That's why they stuff do not add up. Lest they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to the feast of who? The Gentiles, after their error and after their ignorance. What feast are we walking after if we saying Happy New Year yesterday? Janus, the God of time. You don't control time. First of all, you just got on the scene. You only maybe couple thousand years old. So how you invented time? You invented the time of the Gentiles. That's what you invented. And you ain't even invent that because YAH prophesied that before you. So look at what it says. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon. That's these Jewish calendars, these lunar calendars, how it disturbs the season and comes in from year to year, 10 days too soon. So did I make that up? How did they know this? But science is now telling you the lunar cycle, 12 moons is going to be exactly 354 days. I don't care if you start 12 moons from the 6th moon of the year or the 12th moon of the year. It don't matter, the 3rd moon of the year. You count 12 moons from there, you're going to get exactly 354 days. 10 days too soon because the year is supposed to be 364. So because they're making observations of that, what they going to do? Oh, they're going to throw an extra moon. Or verse 37, for this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order and make an abominable day, the day of testimony. And what's an abominable day? Abominable day is when this day is supposed to be a regular day. And you say, no, this is YAH's day. And YAH said, no, tomorrow is my day. You have now turned a regular day of the week into an abominable day because you have now made that into a lie. It's supposed to be just the day before the Shabbat or the day after the Shabbat. You made it the Shabbat. Or it's supposed to be the day before the Sabbathon of unleavened bread or tabernacles. You done made it a regular day. So you done turned a day that's supposed to be a holy day, you done turn it into abomination because you doing abominable things on a holy day because you thinking it's a regular day. Right, and vice versa. And the day of testimony and the unclean day, a feast day, and they will confound all the days. So you ain't just gonna mess up one day, you're gonna mess up all your days. The holy with the unclean day with the holy, for they will go wrong as to the months and Sabbaths and feast and jubilee. Why didn't say you go wrong to the moons? Oh, now it's months, right? It's when you have to say months so that you can get people to understand, then you say months. But when you want to confuse us and make us think moon, you say moon. Right? Why every other language had enough common sense to give a different word for moon and month. Even the Greeks, the same people that's trying to get you Hebrews to believe they BS, they even got different words. The word for moon in Greek is selene. The word for month in Greek is mane, completely different. And we know in Hebrew it's Chodesh for month and Yeriach for moon, completely different. But now all of a sudden we come to this retarded language of English. Moon and month is the same derivative. Sounds very convenient. All right. For this reason, verse 38, I command and testify to you that you may testify to them. For after your death, your children will disturb them. So they will not make the year 364 days only. So is he Nostradamus? This is exactly what we doing now. We just kept the 365-day year. Or it might be 366. I don't know. I can't even keep up. No, I guess it's 365 because we didn't have 29 days. I think we got 29 days in February this year. It's a leap year. Foolishness makes no sense. And for this reason, they will go wrong as to the new months and the seasons and the Shabbats and festivals. And here, look what it says. And they will eat all kind of blood with all kinds of flesh. How does that, what does that got to do with messing up your months? So once you start messing up a little bit, it's eventually going to mess up a lot. Now, because you don't really care when the year start, you following pagan festivals. Now you're eating a raw, bloody pork sandwich. You're getting your steak rare or medium rare. You're getting all that foolishness because you're trying to be, and when in the Romans do as the Romans. You're trying to do all that foolishness. Because once you start making consolation for them, eventually you're going to turn around and be them. All right, so that's Jubilees. So again, I'm going to show you that the sun is the great timekeeper. We're going to go to Jubilees chapter 2. We're going to go back a few chapters and we're going to see what the timekeeper, we just showed you. If the sun, you know for sure that sun came up, it's the day. That sun went down, it don't go down halfway during the day and then come back up. Now it might be blocked by a cloud, but you ain't going to see it go down, but oh, my bad, and come back up. There's really 4 more hours. You know, man, it's that time of the month, man. Ugh. When you seen a woman's cycle be changed by the sun, the moon got gravitational pull and all that type of stuff. So the moon, you can mess around and be like, man, be here one day, then be gone the next day. You looking at me like, man, I remember one time I was freaking. I was like, this is the end of the world. I can see the moon in the daytime. And I started to look and research. I found out, wait a minute, that happens all the time. I was like, oh man, I thought I was special or something. Like I done seen something, like hey, look, I done warned everybody. The world about to end is before I was really reading the Bible. You know, I'm just looking at things and just making, you know, how we do. We just make up stuff when we see stuff. Just like every time there's a blood red moon, the world gonna end tomorrow. All right, so we at Jubilees chapter 2. We're gonna read verses 8 through 10. And again, this portion of the class is for those that are wise, or those that proclaim to know nothing so that they can become wise. Yo, Bellum, Jubilees chapter 2 and verse 8. These 4 great works YAH created on the 3rd day. And on the 4th day, he created the sun and the moon and the stars. So if he created the sun, moon, and stars on the 4th day, then how could the new moon be the beginning of every month or the beginning of the year? It don't add up. The moon wasn't created to the 4th day. And did he start, time over and say, you know what, it's going to be Monday now because the moon was created on this day? No. He told you after the 4th day was the 5th day. And after the 5th day came the 6th day when he created all the beasts. And on the 7th day, he rested. So the days of the week kept going. But that calendar started on that 4th day of the week because he gave us the sun and the moon and the stars and set them in the firmament of the heaven, verse 8, to give light upon all the earth, to rule over the day and the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And YAH appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days. So this is your sign for days and for Shabbats and for months and for feasts and for years and for Sabbath of years and for jubilees and for all seasons of the year. So all of this is based on the pattern of the sun. So in certain amount of suns, you have your Shabbat. In certain amount of suns, you have a complete month. In a certain amount of suns, you're going to have your feast. In a certain amount of suns, you have the year. In a certain amount of cycles of the sun, you got the Sabbath of years and so forth and so on. That's how it was created. And there's no confusing that, like the moon that could be here and not here. So there you have it, the breakdown. So again, we know that The sun is the great timekeeper. And the sun and the moon, all that, wasn't even created to the fourth day. So when does your day start? When does your calendar start? It starts the fourth day of the week. But when does the year start? Because we need to know when the year starts so we can say, okay, the year starts here. What day is it? Let's go into Enoch. Again, people are afraid of these books because they don't understand Torah. So of course they're afraid of these books. We're going to go to the book of Enoch, chapter 72, and we're just going to read a few verses. And in this chapter here, if I was to break this down, this is what you thought we were going to do. Well, we're going to go gate by gate and break down day by day, 364 days of the year. So you know exactly when each month starts, when each season starts, when the year starts, when you have your solstices, which are your markers in between the two seasons of the year, which is literally the spring and the winter, and spring and winter, basically. And you have all your markers. It's all given in this chapter. But for now, we already established it's 364 days, 52 months, 52 weeks, 7-day weeks. We've already established that. So now we're going to find out what should we see in the heavens. What should we see with the sun, being that the sun is the great timekeeper, that's going to indicate to us that a year has begun. All right, so we're at Enoch chapter 72, and we're going to start this at verse 32. It says, on that day, the night decreases and amounts to 9 parts day and 9 parts night. So, and the night is equal to the day, and the year is exactly as it is to the days, 364. So that's consistent with Jubilees, 364 days. So on that 364th day of the year, you're going to have equal portions of day and equal portion of night. Now, that happens about twice a year. So how do you know which time of that is the beginning of the year? Well, we got clue number one. We can use Torah for that. Tell you, well, when it's springtime. So when you have equal day, equal night in the spring, the next day is spring, the first day of the year. Well, let's read it. And the length of the day and the night, and the shortness of the day and the night arise through the course of the sun. These distinctions are made. So the length of the day and the night and the shortness of the day and the night arise through the course of the sun. Distinctions are made. So it comes that its course becomes daily longer and its course nightly shorter. So when you're in the spring equinox, which is the equal day and equal night, the next day, the day is getting longer. That's why it's called spring. The day is springing forward. But when you get to the fall equinox, it's called fall because the day is falling shorter. So you know that can't be the new year because it says right here that the day has to become longer and the night shorter. So that's your clues. That's how you know when your year starts. So what you have to find is when you have equal day and equal night, and that is your last day of your year. The next day is your new year. All right. So they have this thing which they like to call the equinox. Equinox is not your equal day and equal night. The equinox is merely just a portion where you have a shadow across the equator of the earth, where half of the earth is in light and the bottom is on darkness. That's not equal day and equal night. Y'all not caring about everybody else. He looking at Jerusalem and said, when Jerusalem got equal day and equal night, 12 hours day and 12 hours night, that's the new year. That's all he ain't caring about what the shadow looked like somewhere else. Man invented that. And who else used to deal with equinox? The Incas and all the other pagan heathens that was doing all they work, the Egyptians and all that stuff. We're set apart people. All right, so we're going to end the class with a few graphics real quick. We're going to show you that the new year starts. How to find that. All right, so I'm going to pull something up real quick. This is something that you're supposed to observe with your eyes. So you're supposed to be able to look up and observe this. And obviously, we living in the city now, and we city life. There's only so much that we can observe. So this site is called Date and Time. Date and Time, or Time and Date. Refresh this. Timeanddate.com. And you can see when the sun rises and when the sun set, and you can get somewhat of an idea of the pattern here, how you see how the sunrise time and the sunset time is changing. 7:53 a.m. the sun rises, but then it's setting at 7:41. 7:52 a.m. is setting at 7:42, and then it has a little calculation how long the day was. 11 hours and 48, 11 hours and 50. All right, now you can't go by this directly because they splitting, when does their day start? Their day starts at midnight. So they're splitting things up, causing confusion. So you can't go directly with this. They're not going to tell you all the truth, but you can use it as you can find certain clues. So New Year is the 12th of March. That's Tuesday night, March 12th, based on 364 days. And how you find this, and this is the clue. Look what they doing right here on that Sunday before Tuesday. Daylight savings. Night hour shift because clocks change forward 1 hour. Why are you changing it that Sunday? Right before our new year on the 12th. This happens every year. If they consider the equinox, they consider around the 19th. It's usually anywhere from the 19th to the 21st every year. That's how you know it can't be the equinox, because it'll be the 19th one year and the next year it'll be the 20th. That's like 366 days. Another year it'll be on the 20th. The next year it's on the 20th. That's at least 365 days. So that can't be a Hebrew calendar. So that's how you know that's off. But if they say you're equilux, where they're saying it's equal day and equal night, why you don't do daylight savings then? But see, you doing it Sunday when you start the week. Well, they doing it Sunday because they know the week, literally the first day of the week on calendars is Sunday. And they know the season changes on the 12th. So they shifting the hour around there to throw us off. Because look, it get dark at 6:41. Next thing there's 7:41. That's throwing you off. They're causing confusion. So that's how you find the new year. You find that Tuesday right after daylight savings in March. And you're going to find that new year. And some years it's going to actually show equal day and equal night right around that. Other years they won't. All right. So how do you know Tuesday night is the beginning of every year? All right. So now I'm going to take you to two separate ancient witnesses to prove to you that New Year is going to be Tuesday night. We already showed you in the ancient scripts in Jobelum, and we showed you in Enoch that it's 364 days every year. Don't change. That means the days of the year are the same every year. Your holy days fall on the same day of the week every year. It don't change. So we showed you that. So I should be able to go back to ancient calendars and it should match the same thing as now. So we have the Dead Sea Scrolls they found in the Qumran caves, which go back to almost 1300 BC. And they found this thing called the calendrical documents. And I'm about to pull up a copy of it. The calendrical documents. And in the calendrical documents, they show you how the year was broken down. All right, so on these calendrical documents, notice here, you have Abib. That's the only name they gave you, Abib. This is your spring, Abib, second month, third month. That's a whole season. Those heavenly tablets they talking about, right? The seasons of the year. Then you have 4th month, 5th month, 6th month, 7th month, 8th month, 9th month, 10th month, 11th month, 12th month. Then it goes right back. What day is that? For Abib day 1, the 4th day of the week. If you don't know what the 4th day of the week is, you just go to you open up your cell phone and look at your calendar. It's going to say Sunday or all the way to your left, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When does Wednesday start? Tuesday night. Because when does the Sabbath start? Does it start Saturday day? No, Friday night. So it's consistent. So even the Dead Sea Scrolls showed you that the first day of the year is the 4th day of the week. All right, that's one witness, Dead Sea Scrolls. Let's go to another witness that was also found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is called the Songs of Sabbath Sacrifice. These were ancient writings found in the Qumran cave in the 4Q 400 section. So this is where it was found, ancient part, where they were detailing the Sabbaths of the year, where the priest had a course, would have to come in and do this and do that, and the songs that they were supposed to sing for each specific Sabbath of the year. And look, they chronicled the exact day of the week for the first Sabbath of the year and each Sabbath going on throughout the year. So here we got it. For the sage, the song of the Holocaust offering of the first Sabbath on the 4th of the first month. So again, if it's 364 days, 52 weeks of 7-day weeks, that means nothing changes. It's exact math. Saturday always going to be Saturday. And if your birthday is on a Tuesday this year, next year is going to be on Tuesday for the rest of your life, according to YAH's calendar. So if back when King David was doing this stuff, if the Sabbath of the first month was the 4th day of the week, it's going to be the 4th day of the week today. So let's go back to the Qumran again. Sabbath. What day of week this is? 4th day of the week. It's right there. Ancient. So again, your new year is going to start on a Tuesday night every year. Every year. It's going to start in the springtime, and it's going to start that Tuesday night directly after they set the clocks back. That's your little clue that you're about to have your new year, because they're trying to mess you up. They're trying to change times. Why they don't do it on the equinox? Why they don't do it in January 1st? Whose daytime you trying to save? What? You gonna do it on a sun? Ask them, why are you doing it on this day? Well, the calculations of the angular curvature of the ball earth. Like, man, get the crap out of here with this ball earth foolishness, man. If you can't tell me why you can see the North Star from the southern hemisphere when you're supposed to be under the earth, don't come to me about no daytime savings time. You still trying to tell me about a ball earth. So there you have it. Again, this class was to highlight the basics, how to know you're being lied to and how you know when the year starts. So if you take anything from this class, you know, according to Torah, the new year starts in the spring. Starts the same month we supposed to keep Passover. You know that there's 364 days in a year. 52 weeks, you already knew it was 52 weeks. You already knew there was 7 days in a week. And you know it never changes. You know that. You know that when you have equal day and equal night, and the next day after that, when the night is getting shorter and the day is springing forward, is growing, that is the first day of your year. Not the day of the equinox, not the day of the equilux, but the day after is your new year. And you know Rosh Hashanah is supposed to be in the springtime, not in the time that you have an atonement, not when you having tabernacles and all that in the winter. So you got enough information in your Torah, like we said, for you to seek your salvation with fear and trembling. And if you are of wisdom or really trying to attain the wisdom, you can get in these other books, but you got to master this Torah first, or you're going to be taken in all kind of directions. You got all kind of people going to Enoch, they chasing the Sabbath around. What you need to chase something that's fixed. They looking for the moon. We moon out today. The moon ain't out today. Okay, it ain't out today. So I guess we gotta wait. We gotta wait till tomorrow for it to be the next day. What? Tomorrow is the next day. I don't gotta wait on the moon to come for it to be the next day. It's ridiculous. So your whole week start over. You back to Monday because the moon came out. It's foolishness what people would do. If you don't read Torah, if you don't have a basic understanding of this word and a basic understanding of basic Hebrew terms, they're going to send you off. So again, another week, maybe next week, next Bible study, we'll drill in and we'll show you how to calculate when New Year starts. We'll go into Enoch, we'll show you how to use the sun and how much daylight and how much nighttime and calculate exactly where you are. So that's all we're going to do today. Before we close, any last questions or comments? Check the YouTube. If anybody has any questions or comments. And if I don't get to your questions or comments, you can always reach out to us on saviorwordofyah.org. You can email us at saviorwordofyah. saviorwordatl@gmail.com. And Yah's will, we will see you this Sabbath for our weekly Bible study. Elder Zahar been a little under the weather, just resting up for the end for the past few weeks. But Yah's will, he'll be ready to return this Shabbat. So I don't see any questions here. So Yah's will, we will see you all on Shabbat. Shalom.